You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat someone who has a weakness where they have a strength. See, it's easy to sympathize with someone who struggles in the same area that you struggle in. It's easy because you consider yourself, and unconsciously you're merciful and graceful. But when you run into somebody who struggles with something that you don't struggle with, can you have that same compassion? Can you be thoughtful? Can you be considerate? Even though you don't know what it's like to war against that particular thing. You want to know why the church world singles out homosexuality and talks more about that particular sin than any other sin? It's because there's a small population that struggles against that. So it's easy to be critical of someone who struggles with something that you don't struggle with. Sin is sin. There's no distinction in God's eyes. If you go to hell, it's not going to matter what took you there. You're not going to pat anybody on the shoulder and say, man, what are you in for? It's not going to matter whether you're a liar, a thief, an adulterer, a criminal, a homosexual. It's not going to matter what got you there. All that will matter is that you're there. So we have to learn how to be merciful even when someone's struggling against something that we've never struggled against. I personally have never struggled against drugs and alcohol, but I counsel people daily that struggle against that. But the Lord has enabled me to be compassionate even though their struggle doesn't look like mine, because I have realized that we all fall short of the glory of God. And even though yours looks different than mine, it really doesn't make any difference, because it all takes you to the same place. If it's not resolved, if it's not fixed, if it's not put under the blood, it'll all take you to the same destination. So we have to be compassionate and considerate. But this servant wasn't. And even though his fellow servant made the same plea that he had made to the master, he showed no mercy. I want you to see what has happened. This one servant has had two different responses, which produced two different results. What that tells me is that what's holding you back is not your situation. It's how you're responding to your situation. See, God has given us all the power, all the authority to rise up against situations and circumstances, respond appropriately, and bring about the desired result. But if you continue to respond inappropriately, you're going to continue to reap the same devastating result. It's not about your mommy and your daddy. It's not about all the setbacks that you've encountered. It's not about all the circumstances or situations that you've been through. It's not about what other people did to you. It's about how you are responding to that. I know you were born on the other side of the tracks and you were on food stamps all your life, and you don't know what it's like to be able to purchase the things that you want because you struggle for the things that you need. But it's not about the deck of cards that you have. It's not about what you have been through or what you have dealt with. It's about how you respond to it. God is the God of the day. A lot of people say, God, we're waiting on God, but many times God is waiting on us. He's waiting on us to respond according to His Word. Because if we'll do that, we'll see His divine result. We'll see even all the negative things get in a huddle and produce a positive effect in our life. I'm wondering, do you have anything in you that is tired of the life that you have? Anything in you that's unsettled? Anything in you that's no longer complacent with what you have and with the relationship that you have? Is there anything in you that wants change? Because when you get good and ready to change, all you have to do is change your response, and you'll change your result. God is God of the day, meaning that He can do everything that He wants to do in this moment. It doesn't have to take 6 months. It doesn't have to take 10 years. He can heal you right now. He can bless you right now. He can break poverty that has wrapped its hands around your neck. He can do it right now. I serve a God who can still raise Lazarus right now, who can still do miracles right now as I speak. I'm not promised tomorrow, and I didn't live back in 1955. So I need a God who can pour out His presence and demonstrate His glory and power right now. And He can, if you're willing to respond correctly. Let me tell you a story. When I first was called to preach, I was working at a hospital as a security guard. And I was sitting in the corner. I was working night shift. I was sitting in the corner and reading my Bible. And the ambulance pulled up. They had pulled up with a young woman about 21, 22 years old who had overdosed. Our job consisted of escorting the ambulance drivers in and then standing in front of the operating room